Okay guys, this is episode 1 of the Live Bait podcast. My first guest today is Zachary Fowler. Today's podcast is brought to you by Fowler's Makery and Mischief.
I didn't know we officially... I'm sponsoring this?
Oh, I thought so. Were you not? No?
Okay, yeah, all right, I'm sponsoring
it's either
this.
that or I pay you one of the two. So.
I'm sponsoring this then, apparently.
So, today we are speaking with Zachary about his start with YouTube, his outdoor survival life, and everything to do with that. A little bit of wild game, bacon wrapped everything maybe. We'll see what we get into.
Jalapeno poppers we made before this. Oh, they're really good.
So, first things first, how do I know you?
All right, so that's actually a funny question because exactly 1 year ago today, earlier today, I was sitting on the toilet and I opened up Facebook like any good person does when they're sitting on the bathroom.
Looking for help.
And no, I was just, scrolling the usual and I saw my history.
Oh, wow.
And there is the survival kit jumping into the water. And like a week or two before I made that, I put out an ad on Facebook saying, hey, somebody want to help me with collecting some reeds for making the reed hut for the 87 days video.
There were a few comments that I remember. A lot of people saying that they wished they were closer, they were out of state, if I remember correctly, things like that.
Yeah.
But I said that I had a vehicle and the day off and I could help him cut some reeds to make this. Well, it was a reed shelter, right?
Yeah. And we made the reed hut. And and I was like, that went so well. I was like, hey, let's cut like a ton more reeds and make a boat.
I was already shooting slingshots at the time. I brought that weird bent frame slingshot.
You brought a Chinese,
so inaccurate.
A Chinese slingshot. Yeah, but you were good with it. And unlike anybody else who you stepped up, you had the initiative, and so we just started I was like, I don't know, you helped out maybe like 4 or 5 times for videos or different things.
Yep.
And then it was like instantly, I was like, well, I'll give you $50 every time I make a video. And we were like full send. And
then the website, when did that come into play?
I don't know. I don't even think that was like, that might have been
immediately.
It was even like, it was within a month of our meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, all right, so I'm doing all this work on my own website, like trying to make videos and ship all this stuff to people.
So needless to say, the growth of Fowler's Makery and Mischief happened pretty fast.
Mm-hmm.
You went from shooting a video for, was it a Go
These
Prepared?
are really good. Have you tried them yet?
I have a bitten off one. Here we go. Cheers, guys. In light of Zachary being here, we had to have something wrapped in bacon. Gonna try and make this a regular thing. A little bit of food every episode, maybe.
Yep. Jalapeno, bacon wrapped cheddar poppers. Those are good.
Which we'll get in the bacon wrap.
They're not quite hot enough.
No, that cheddar.
We need some of our new hot sauce.
Oh. Mm-hmm. That will also be the first link in the description, guys. FowlersMakeryMischief.com. I mean, it's got to be at this point.
Yeah.
First episode.
It's sponsored by FowlersMakeryMischief.com after all.
You got to put the sponsors in the description, don't you?
So try our new Chipotle sauce.
Okay. So
sorry, back on track.
Back on track.
It's your show. I'm sorry. I'm taking it.
Come on. Quiet down here. Quiet down. So, I met you, what was it, 3 years ago?
Yeah, that's what it said on the thing. 3 years ago, we made that video about the survival kit, me jumping into the ice water, you chasing along behind with the camera.
A little bit lower quality of video.
It was, but it was fun.
One angle shot with a phone.
The funny thing, though, is we're just about to go out and do the exact same thing again, minus the jumping in the ice water, testing a survival kit.
That's a little bit too much.
We can tease it.
Okay, we can tease it. We can tease it.
We can tease it.
Okay. We're going to be out in the snow, maybe freezing to death.
There's some fun.
Yeah, you'll see that on his channel, of course.
Yep.
So, before YouTube, before you thought of this whole YouTube thing, before Alone, which we'll also get into, what was your first job? You told me. I think I know, but I'm not sure exactly.
My first job?
Well, on the books.
All right,
I'm sure you did
let's
other
see how
stuff.
well my partner in crime knows me.
Well, I know you.
What was my first job?
I might fail here.
Put you on the
I feel
spot.
like I should go back farther, but I'm thinking you did something at Joann Fabric for a while.
That's what I was gonna say too. Joann Fabrics.
Okay, yeah. Joann Fabric.
I worked for my dad doing like any kid gets stuck.
And I'm sure that was all.
My first, I think it was my first real job was working at Joann Fabrics and cutting fabric, or I was mostly cleaning the place. I'd clean the bathrooms and stuff, and then I started cutting fabric, and I got to cut fabrics, and I was making dresses. And
so all of you who think that he just started out with this YouTube job, you don't do that. No. You got to work your 9 to 5s first. That is for sure.
9 to 5.
Well, no, it wasn't.
No, it was more like after school, but yeah.
Oh well.
There's 3:30 to 9:30.
That still, there's not enough kids who have that after school job. That's a past thing. I mean, I know a few people that I graduated with that after school they still will go to a job and whatnot, or at the time when I was in high school they would, but that was not a common thing. That was the harder working group of people who actually did that. Most people were just waiting to go to college and get their parents to pay for college and have a good old time.
It's distracting. We're talking. We got the new channel, Bushcraft ASMR in the background, and he's like powdering the butt. He's powdering the butt. No, yeah. People don't.
It's a lost thing, I feel like.
Well, because they don't have to, because their parents take care of them.
Yeah, they pay the phone bill.
And they think their parents should take care of them. And
that's a question. What were you working for back then? What motivated?
Wait, okay, so to tell how good of friends we are, what was your first job?
Oh, do you want to?
I'm supposed to. If I have to guess.
Good luck. Well, it was about the same.
I would say working for your uncle.
Yeah, that was my first. But I was less
that was
than
almost
10 years
a given.
old.
That was a given. That wasn't fair. That wasn't fair. But
first on the books job.
First on the books job.
I think that's pretty simple. It was right out first summer of high school.
Some sort of carpentry or working.
No, actually, no. It was in the field.
Field worker? Picking blueberries? Picking blueberries?
No, it was. I worked in the kitchen.
Picking
I
apples.
Worked at Dockside Family Restaurant.
Oh, okay.
We might have to cut that out. We'll get some orders or something.
No. Okay, so
no takeout orders.
There's nothing wrong with working. A lot of kids in this area work picking blueberries.
Yeah, that's a.
So that's no. I knew
you say a lot of kids, but that goes back to the thing of not a lot of kids because they're not motivated to.
Not nowadays, but up to 10 years ago, I knew a lot of kids that would want to make money when they were
changing fast.
Yeah, when you're underage and you can't make money somewhere else, you can go pick blueberries and get paid by picking blueberries.
10 years ago, Instagram didn't exist, Zach.
No,
and
exactly.
Summertime is the gram time. That's when you get
eat this and
those posts. Yeah. Okay. So for your first job at Joann Fabric, what was the reason? Back to that, the interesting topic of Joann Fabric here. Back to that. Why were you working? What were you? Were you into motorcycles at the time? I know that was probably not yet. Vehicle? Were you saving up for a vehicle? Did you have your license?
I was into not living in my parents' house.
You wanted to get out, huh?
I wanted to get out.
No plans for college?
No, I was going to go to fashion school and make my own. So
fashion school. You heard it here first. Well, possibly first. Maybe you've heard it. I don't think a lot of people would know that, to be honest.
Well, it wasn't to become a fashion designer. It was to become. I could make my own snowboard clothes because I skateboarded and snowboarded all the time, and I loved the fashion of snowboard clothes and skateboard clothes. I thought it was cool, and so.
What were the brands back then?
The only way it was, Burton. Yeah, Burton, Stutzy.
Can't think of what was the other big one?
Stutzy.
I've never even heard of
You never heard of Stutzy? Yes, that was before you were even born.
Burton, of course.
Yeah, Stutzy died out before you were born. Now you have to go to one of those websites where they sell old stuff.
So you were you were thinking cold weather gear. Can we relate that?
Well, just skateboard clothes. I love the baggy pants that fit on your hips, but were straight legged and.
Did you rock the Jenkos?
Oh yeah,
that was before my time, but I've heard stories.
That's an embarrassing story. So one time I had these Jenkos, then I thought they were the coolest thing in the world, and they kind of stopped halfway between your knee and your ankle. That's why they called them Jankle.
Oh my goodness.
And I went to this.
They were jorts?
Yeah, they were jorts.
Like long jorts?
And I thought they were the coolest thing in the world. And they were like super baggy. And I went to church wearing them.
No!
Yes, yeah.
You wore the Jankos to church?
Yeah, yes.
You did Jesus like that?
No, but the best part is I come out and everybody loved them. I had like 5 old ladies that were like, where can I get a pair of those? And
Those look like the pants that Jesus
they were like,
himself wore.
I love these. These are so good. They look so airy. They're like shorts, but they're not a skirt, and they're so comfortable. Can I get me a pair of them?
They're going to come back around soon, I think.
And
it's all coming back around. I think the Jankos are going to be here soon.
I was so embarrassed. I still remember. I never wore those. I never wore them again.
Because the old ladies complimented you.
It was nice.
I want compliments from the young ladies, not the grandmas at the church.
I was remember everything we do on the table reflects into the mic.
Oh, the banging and stuff.
Any banging, any
I'm slapping
tapping,
the table.
Which is a fun accent with your, but we can edit it out. But
cut that.
Yeah, we
editor. My editor that I have behind the scenes that I've paid very well. Very good. I'll be he'll get that in the notes. Okay. First job, we got that taken care of. You're working doing at Jo-Ann Fabric, selling fabric essentially for how long? Couple of years, all of high school? How long do you hold on to that job? That's kind of like a thing.
I ended up working at Jo-Ann Fabrics for probably I don't know, over a year and a half, and then I ended up going into
this was your senior
the moving business.
Senior year?
I went from that into my senior year working at Jo-Ann Fabrics.
There's a lot of kids probably watching your channel that they don't know what to grab for a job. There's probably maybe limited options due to our situation in 2020.
I was mostly a janitor at Jo-Ann Fabrics.
Okay.
And then I was like, and then they needed somebody to cut fabric, and I started like becoming really good at sewing. So I was making recommendations on, do you want the chiffon? Do you want the,
You tried to step up from that janitorial.
They had to because they needed somebody with skills, and
you had the skills to pay the bills. Okay, so the Jo-Ann Fabric, it was all of a year, maybe a year and a half, you say. So, and then when did you get up into Maine? Where was that transition?
Okay,
because to bring it back, he's not a Maine local, although you've lived here for how many years now?
Yeah, it's been, I don't know.
You might as well be a local.
Since I was 18 almost.
You're grandfathered in, essentially.
You have
18?
to be 3 generations if you want to be grandfathered in.
Oh, man, that's a thing that we can talk about too. How many 18-year-olds just pack up, head to a different state, and do their own thing?
Okay, I only packed up because I didn't want to go to fashion school because I didn't like that crowd. I didn't want to go to... The only way to go to fashion school is if you go to school where you learn what they want you to learn, just like any other college. And then when you're done, you can finally do what you want to do. So I went to a boat building school in Maine. And that's when I moved up here when I was still 18.
That's the transitional
And that was the transition of my life.
Was kind of the... Where did that root from? Where did you?
My dad brought me to a
woodworking.
My dad woodworker, and we went to a show, and they had a thing about the boat building school, and he's like, "Hey, you want to check this out? This might be something you're interested in." And we went and checked it out, and I'm like, it's the coolest thing you can build, because at the time I've always been building different things. Classic
boats too. It's not. You're not talking about doing
wooden boats.
Fiberglass molds. He's talking like if I have the editing, if my editor has the abilities, I'm going to throw some pictures up of some boats that this man has put together or has worked on partially, because it's not just a little John boat. These are works of art. These are beautiful, they're beautiful boats. The price range, some of them probably were pushing quarter.
I've worked on boats that are over $1 million, but the ones that I liked to work on the most were a smaller boat.
Just for reference,
that was even the smallest dinghy that was 12 foot long that I ever built was still like a $12,000 boat.
That's what I wanted to get at. Yeah. When he says boat building, there's a big part of Maine that does a lot of fiberglass work. these guys, although they work hard, it's not the most artistic work. They get the job done, but they're doing fiberglass work and things like that. He's working with wood, kind of more traditional, I'd say, type of deal. Which maybe...
Oh, just traditional wooden boat builder.
Maybe influenced you building more things in the woods later down the road? Mm-hmm. Working with wood more often rather than trying to use...
Well, it was just my urge inside of me as I built boats was to do something more. Like something that I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. Like I built boats for years.
That was the next question. How many years did you do that?
I don't even know how many years. That was like 20 years of building boats. 18, 20 years of building boats. And the only reason I enjoyed it was because it was building something. It was being creative with my hands. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I was always fighting this urge. And I'd get fired from places. I'd finish jobs and they were like, "Yeah, we don't have anything else for you." Because I would work the most minimal amount of hours I could so I didn't have to be there. Because I liked making things, but I wanted to be building something for myself that meant something. My passion, I hated sailing.
So there's always been a little bit of something in the back of your head that said, I want to do something more than just build boats, which is probably not an uncommon thing for maybe the average person who's working their job, and maybe they're making something for those millionaires, the millionaire people who are requesting these boats from you, which probably maybe could be a little bit irking in the back of your head. You're just working on that, which to each their own. But there was something there that pushed you to our next topic, which is going to be applying for the History Channel TV show Alone.
Yeah.
So the average person might work a 9 to 5 and they might go home and watch TV and watch the History Channel, but what in the heck made you apply for Alone? When...
I didn't even really want to apply for it initially. It was like we were watching Naked and Afraid. I had gotten married at the time, and I was like, we would watch it, and we would watch shows out in the woods off grid, and we'd watch whatever we could download. And I was like, I was always a good couch critic, and I knew better than everybody else.
Mm-hmm. This is common, right? Yeah. Like everybody. Like I've watched TV shows and like, you could do it better. I feel like a lot of people.
Yeah.
But what was that point where you said, I'm going to make a video and send it to the History Channel?
It actually wasn't. It wasn't even me. It was my ex-wife. And I was like, I could do that too many times. And she finally was like, I dare you. And when a woman says, like, I dare you, you got to step up. You got to man up. You got to be like, all right. Yeah, I could do this.
You say that, but I think this is still a personality thing where you are willing to tackle larger projects like that than the average. Because there's been, I think, a few girlfriends or wives who have dared the husband or boyfriend to maybe sweep the kitchen. That dare probably never went done.
But that's not really a dare. That's like a. But that's still, like it's a minor thing. I tried to trick you into doing the kitchen chores.
I dare you not to go fishing for a month. That's a dare that's usually done. I dare you to apply to a History Channel Alone show. So you took that pretty much to heart, and you said,
I dare you not to go fishing for a month. That's just abuse. That's
rude.
That's spousal abuse. That should be reported. There's number. We're going to put a number right here at the bottom of the screen right there where you can report that kind of incident.
So you got dared, and off a dare, a lot of people get dared to do crazy things and never go through with it. But you took the dare, and you ran with it, and you made that application video for Alone. Mm-hmm. How long did it take from the dare? Instantly? The next day you made the video?
Well, I sent a message, and because I was still lazy at the time, I pretty much sent a message saying, I'm a wooden boat builder with a ginger beard that lives in the woods in Maine in a yurt, and that's all I sent, because I didn't want to fill out the 15-page application, and they were like, we'll take you. We're sending you a camera. Have somebody else help you fill out the application.
And this is season 3, correct?
And then we don't have any room for season 2 because it's already being filmed. We'll take let's talk about you coming to the boot camp for season 3.
Yep.
And that all happened within like 4 days, if that. And boom, we were on our way to,
You're getting flown out to
New York for a boot camp, which was
by the History Channel.
Yeah, by the History Channel.
We're not just going to glass over that.
Yeah.
The History Channel is flying you out within, you say, 4 days of sending this illegitimate email.
No, first it was 4 days, and then it was like the next month was the boot camp.
Okay,
so they were quick to respond, and then like we have a boot camp in a month.
My point is, you didn't even go through the proper application process. Essentially, they for some reason thought you were so interesting with your description, which maybe goes into his ability to clickbait.
Yeah.
I don't know. This started from the beginning, possibly.
It's not clickbait if it's good salesmanship.
It was just an honest breakdown in a few words.
Yeah, well, because that whenever they're putting together a show like this, they're looking for the village people. You
say that, but
so they're looking for the firemen,
our 80s people here. Go ahead, the village people. You all know who that is.
Yeah,
I don't know exactly, but
you'll notice that when you look at any show.
Oh no, I know what
they're looking for their variety.
Yeah, you want the
you want the color,
spicy people. Okay, so you go on alone, and you don't only go on, but 87 days later, you.
Well, you just skipped over a huge chunk of my life.
Yeah,
like 87 days later.
We're going to come back to this, though.
Yeah.
We're going to come back to this. I just want to get
you got something?
Oh, yeah. I want to get...
It's your show.
Come on. Let me run this thing here. But you go there. Well, they have to watch. I don't want to get too much into that because it's spoiler alerts. They could still go there and watch season 3 of History Channel's Alone show and see the winner. Here, Zachary Fowler.
You just ruined it. They're talking about those spoilers. You're just like, hey, he won.
I mean, well, I already said that he won, but you got to see how he won. There's a lot that went into the amount of days that you were there. It's not just went there and the next day you won. It's no Jeopardy
so many people did so many neat things that season.
Yeah,
and it was
our good friend Greg. He ended up lasting a good amount of time.
Ovens, is he? Oh, no, that's Jeremy behind us. Watch, Ovens Rocky Mountain Bushcraft right behind it. No, he's not. That's great. A different episode. But, yeah, Greg.
Oh, back to the... Okay, so Greg got distracted by the YouTube video. Let's see. Alone. I still want to talk about Alone, but I'm not sure. You're 87 days there. It
doesn't matter. We can cut it. That's good, Greg. Good cut.
Yeah, take a snack break. So, talking about Alone. You go on Alone and you win it, right? Dump off my coffee here.
What's your next question after the Alone stuff?
I'm trying to smoothly transition into that. So, I'm talking about how you go on to Alone. I was going to get back to what you do on Alone and like the trout and stuff later on. And how your methods of catching
since we're just recording, I'm going to pause it and go pee.
Yeah, that's fine.
A little ridiculous. And then, like, as your episodes go along, they get better and better.
And we're back. Thank you for that commercial from Fowler's Makery and Mischief.
Your sponsor for this episode.
I really appreciate it.
Buy the new hot sauce.
The link's in the description. So, we're talking about Alone. We're talking about how, spoiler alert, leave if you don't want to hear this in the next few seconds, you won season 3. Yeah. 87 days. You get back, and you get that big old check. Did they give you was it like the check that was like this big?
No.
Not what? They didn't.
It just showed up in my bank account.
Oh, that's good. Well, a little less.
I didn't know
rather had the house whatever check.
I would have like the publishers
clearinghouse. Yes.
Yeah, but no, it was more like
direct deposit. He got cash apped. That was it.
It was more like they said when the final episode airs, we'd have our check, our money within us like 24 days or 48 days or something like that.
Which we don't.
So which means every day you go to the bank, and back then you couldn't check it on your phone. So like it was like you go to the bank and you're like, balance nothing, balance nothing, balance minus 10, balance minus 45, balance minus 68.
Let me stop you. Yeah, well, that's the other thing. Probably a lot of people have looked. I need to stop hitting the table. Probably a lot of people have looked at their bank account to see when their just regular weekly check has been deposited. Could you guys imagine waiting for a how many digit number? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 digit number to be deposited into your bank account? I feel like you were probably waking up pretty early in the morning at some times. Just wait, no, you couldn't have. Like you said, there wasn't mobile banking, so you would have had to go to the bank on that day and go check. So how many times before? And then on that day, what was that feeling when you finally saw that number in your bank account?
It wasn't even like that, because you go to the ATM and you push the button and it prints out the slip, and you're like, it's like winning the lottery. You're like, I was like, woo! Like there's actually not even $500,000, because I was already at minus.
Did it seem surreal?
I was at minus like $36 at the time or something, and so I never even got the full $500,000. The bank took that plus. You know, there was a couple, plus a couple of overdrafts or something like that.
What? But on a real note, what went through your head when you saw that? You had Sparrow, if you don't mind me saying, at the time, right?
Yeah, no.
You had a young kid.
Sparrow was 1, coming on 2 at the time.
You're living off grid.
Yeah.
You're grinding. You're working hard.
There's 4 of us living in a 12-foot yurt with a camper attached to it for a kitchen space.
It's not like you're
we're like, show me the money. You know, like, hurry up, and I won. Now show me the money.
Was it almost too much? Like, was it mentally overwhelming?
No, the worst part actually is like I knew, because at that point we had already calculated what I would spend the money on, and I had it all figured out.
It's all spent already. He's like, well, this wasn't quite exactly what I expected.
It's gone already.
I'm negative.
No, it wasn't spent already. But at the same point, like, you want to spend your money and have nice things.
You realized even though it wasn't going to last you forever.
Well, it wasn't going to last you forever, but you can't even improve your situation, because we had planned on buying a home at that point.
That could potentially be everything that you just won.
Potentially, but it wasn't quite everything. But at the same time, you can't just buy a home. Mm-hmm. I tried. Yeah. I tried to be like mega big bucks, man. And when I talked to people, I was like, hey, we found this home, the one we're here right now in. And I'm like, tell him if he moves out, we'll up the price. You know, I mean, 1,000 next day. Up the price by 2,000. Up the price by 5,000. Just tell them to get the heck out, so we can move in. We're sick of living in our yurt. We were like, we're ready to move.
The wheels
to
on
the
big
real
house.
Estate
business.
We're moving on out. We're moving on up. You know, we want to move up.
We're getting electricity.
Yeah. And
listen,
you got a washer machine,
running water.
Yeah, that we don't have to run and get. You know.
And all jokes aside, this was a huge upgrade, and it was going to be big for you.
No, this was the first time I had electricity that didn't require a generator or a solar panel in over 15 years.
Okay, so...
And so it was like, I used one pan for 15 years.
The house was the first thought you wanted to get out of the off-grid living.
You'd
done it for how many years?
Initially, I didn't, but then Jamie talked me into it, and I was like, as soon as she had me sold on the idea, and because I wanted to become... I decided I want to go back to building boats. I want to become a YouTuber. I was going to do the same stuff I did on the show.
Okay. We missed a little bit of a transition, but we can start there. Where was the YouTube inspiration? What year was this? Did you watch any YouTubers at the time?
Before I went on the show, I made a couple of YouTube videos on my phone, and I thought I was epically awesome.
A little bit of a Jack, but the unedited version of that kind of vibe. You were doing fireworks, and the first videos that you would have posted. I was
exploding stuff instead of
mischief. A lot more mischief than makery. But
later on, I realized you got to be
creative. But that was your start. You wanted to you had like to have fun out in the woods, and that's what you wanted to bring to YouTube.
Yeah.
And it, of course, has evolved into a lot more.
Well, I saw a bunch of videos of people like dragging like dogs around on mops and getting millions of views, and I thought like I could be much more interesting than that.
And I interrupted you back to what year would that have been? Because you have been into YouTube, there's been a timeline of viral videos that kind of, we had the ice cream cone challenge, things like that. YouTube back in, okay, when did you start your channel? Yeah. Pause, we gotta figure this out. Oh, something
from all the bacon.
So, say it was 2015 that you started YouTube.
I think that might have been the 2015, maybe 2016, when I made that first splitting a log video by sticking it in a golf cart tire, so I could split it with a bungee cord around it. And, you know.
So you started simple. You definitely didn't start with 30 days.
No, and then I went on to like, will it explode or something like that, and I'd shoot it with a slingshot and see if it exploded. you know?
It's definitely something you had to start. But from there, where did you want to take it to the next level?
Well, after Alone, I had greater aspirations. I had
knew
come
more
back
about camera
and I started
gear,
watching
production.
I used all the money from Alone and winning $500,000 to buy camera gear, and I thought, okay, I'll be like Casey Neistat. I'll vlog every day.
There, we just brought it back. You just said Casey Neistat. Was he somebody that you actually watched?
Oh yeah.
That was something.
Yeah, when I came back, I started watching all these other YouTubers, and I found Casey Neistat right off the bat. And I thought I'd vlog about what it's like to win $500,000.
Okay.
And so I vlogged about our life in the woods, things like that, and people seemed to like it. And then I vlogged about our moving to the house and like what it was like to have running water again. And
how many subscribers at this time?
And at that point, it was still I had only had like 100 subscribers when I got back from Alone.
Okay.
And when the show finished airing, I had about somewhere just under 3,000 subscribers, and by the time Alone ran its course, I got just over 3,000 subscribers just from being on Alone.
And you weren't posting videos at the time, or you were?
I wasn't allowed to post videos until that kind of that had anything to do with Alone. So I posted videos that got like almost nothing for views, and I was starting to get subscribers, and I started posting videos about what I was doing.
And you're still working at the boatyard.
Yeah, still working at the boatyard.
But still managing.
I only did 1 or 2 videos. My brother had given me a MacBook. And I was making
for a
iMovie.
camera. For the tech people out there, what were you running for a camera? Do you remember?
I can't even remember. I think I had purchased a Canon camcorder, and it was horrible. And I could see the difference between the cameras I was recording Alone on and this, and I was so unhappy. I don't even know if
spoiled.
I don't think I even posted any of those videos that I recorded on that camera. Like I literally waited till after Alone was over and bought the DJI drone, a GoPro, and the same camera I had out on Alone, but the newer model, like the XA35 camcorder or something like that.
So from there, did you have any interest in filming videos before? When you were in high school?
Oh yeah, I did one video, and it's on my YouTube channel. I did one video before that, and it was called Kaboom.
Yeah, I've seen it.
And
exploding
stuffed animals.
Stuffed animals, I'm pretty sure.
And so I thought that would get 1 million views too. But
she's sitting at about a couple thousand right now.
Yeah, I think. Well, that was
not too bad.
Yeah, but that was just because of the thumbnail.
For a first video, that's not too bad at all.
No, my little brother and I, we would we were filming, part of it was all up when stuffed animals attack.
Yeah.
And it was
just fun videos at the time, but you didn't expect to do it full time, which is
but I love movies, and I love TV shows, and I love adventure, and I love telling stories. So after Alone, I thought I would tell the story of my adventure of winning $1 million or $500,000. That's next.
The next one.
That's the next.
We'll get to that.
Alone All Stars. We'll do this in 5 years when that Alone All Stars is on.
Which I have a few questions about.
Yeah.
Go on. So you're doing videos with your brother, just having fun, essentially.
Yeah, and that was the end of it. I didn't even get into Facebook, Instagram, any of that stuff.
You didn't care about likes or comments or things like that. You're shooting for fun because you like movies. You seem like you were into media, into cinema and things like that. Like
a little bit.
Like you were a Star Wars fan.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Big Star Wars fan.
Big Star Wars fan.
So that's kind of like a legendary movie type of deal. I'm not really into it.
Yeah.
But were there...
You're fired. You're fired.
Don't say that.
Wait,
you space geek. But were there any other...
You really don't like Star Wars all this time?
Never even seen it.
Oh my goodness.
I know Baby Yoda. I'm really hip with the gang here. But, cut that.
Oh.
So, full time. Old movies. Inspiration. I know you use a lot of movie clips. I know that you definitely... There's something about cinema that inspires you, I feel like, to do better productions, be funnier, be more entertaining. You're not just trying to do YouTube videos. There's a lot of cuts where you use clips that reference older movies. Do you have a favorite that you can think of right out of the gate?
Well, no, that's a good point, though. Like, I'm not just trying to do YouTube videos. I'm like... More like when I make a video, I'm entertaining myself. I don't know. Yeah. It doesn't have anything to do with making the YouTube videos more often than not. It's just like I'm having fun
with the creative process.
You hear me when I'm in here and I'm like laughing. And I'm like, Chris, come in here. You got to see this. And I made something I'm really proud of. You know, like some cool cut or
sometimes it's really great, but sometimes it's a bit of a dad joke here. No problem, brother, but it's sometimes a dad joke.
Only because your generation doesn't have a good sense of humor. You guys were raised on...
like I said, everything's coming back around.
Napoleon Dynamite. You know, it can only... I mean, that's sad.
Okay. So back to YouTube. What's the favorite video you think that you've made?
Ever made?
Ever made.
Almost...
First thing in your head right now.
My dyslexia video.
Really?
Yeah.
Because you felt like you explained yourself a little bit? It was kind of like...
No, because it was just funny. It was so funny with like so many clips of...
That was back in Vermont too, wasn't it?
No, it was here.
It wasn't Maine.
No, that was in Maine, and it was just like, you know, it wasn't even dyslexia. It was all about...
just bullying,
people bullying you. Yeah. And it was just like a bunch of clips, and it was just...
I remember it.
They were so
getting thrown in the trunk.
Not me getting thrown. I put a guy in my trunk.
Oh, yeah.
And so the whole point of the video is
like... the bully goes into the trunk.
Yeah, so like, you know, you can put up with a lot, but if somebody says something about your mother...
And that's so odd that that's that pops into your head as your favorite kind of deal.
It was just...
You've done million view videos, but that's your favorite view video?
Yeah, the least views of that or my Swiss Army knife one. With the unlocking the car. Because it was something I invented.
Okay.
Like, I unlocked... one day, I unlocked the car with a Swiss Army knife and a stick. Mm-hmm. And not even for me, for some old lady in a parking lot. So I came home. The next day, I made a YouTube video about it. It sounded really great. It was really romantic. It was extremely truthful. Mm-hmm. I unlocked my car. And at the end of unlocking the car for the video... I end up locking my keys in the car while I was filming it.
So you actually...
And I had to actually use the trick again to unlock the car and get my keys out. And it was so funny. And it was just... I had a great time making it. And I turned into MacGyver, you know, like, while I was doing it. Like, as a MacGyver, which I love MacGyver. Mm-hmm. And I only ever had one nickname in high school. And it only stuck for a couple days.
Was it?
It was MacGyver. And, like, everybody else has nicknames... But, like, I never got a nickname. And I managed to hold on MacGyver for 2 days.
MacGruber. Also MacGruber, the head terror.
I have a hard time saying MacGyver after seeing the movie MacGruber, because it's like, it's so bad.
That head tearing scene.
Throat rips.
Oh, yeah, throat rip. Look for the throat rip. But, yeah, so there was some inspiration as far as actual... cinema goes, classic movies and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So you always have strived to make a better film, but at the same time, you're shooting in 4K now. Your favorite videos are some of the oldest videos you have. So maybe there's something to be said for that. It's
story more than anything else.
You're working hard is also.
Yeah.
It's hard to appreciate it, and it's always good when you guys watch the videos and appreciate it and show them in the comments and the likes. Not that that's that important, but you show them that you appreciate these videos, because there's a lot more going into the production than you may understand. Like, he's shooting in 4K, he's doing the top of he's hired editors and video shooters. There's a real production going into this. He's not anymore just going out, and even though there is something quote unquote cute about those original videos that you shot, where it's very simple, you're shooting in 240p probably.
No,
at the time.
it wasn't.
Not quite that
It was
bad.
1080p.
It was
but,
1080, very quality.
It was 1080p with lower, not as
We were
good of a
editing
camera, but like it. The thing is,
But you are doing this to provide better content for the viewers. You were saying yourself that you liked that content when you were shooting in the simplest form. You're shooting with the old camera. You probably had to change out videos and things like that. But nowadays, when it's a little bit more complex, it's hard to produce these videos.
Well, maybe a part of that is because like I was so proud of something really magnificent I did when I was still very junior. So now I'm that much more critical of myself. I know I was able to do
too much time under your belt.
Yeah, like now it's like harder to outdo my own self in my own against my own standard, not against somebody else.
Yeah.
You know, because if I watch
Well,
like
you can't compare yourself.
if I watch like Casey Neistat or Peter McKinnon, it's like I feel like I never measure up at times. But at the same time, it's like they also do the same thing all the time. Like they're reviewing another camera. GoPro sent them a camera because they're famous, and they're gonna review it and show some neat footage of it. But at the same time, hey, can they go and shoot a rattlesnake with their slingshot and eat it?
I've never
And
seen
now
Peter
that rattlesnake
McKinnon do that.
is in their refrigerator, and that skin is. I actually haven't tacked it to my wall yet, but I need to make a plaque.
Video coming soon.
Yeah, video coming soon. So like, I mean, like, or bring a, you know, like that. It's like I've had.
You're using these
I'm
skills.
struggling against my own self to outdo myself, and so I'm critical
And
of
I think
it.
there's a term for that, isn't there? When you're just like super.
Self-deprecation.
I don't
No,
know.
I
I'm
don't
not
know.
educated enough.
No.
Probably.
We're not educated.
Educated enough. I
Educated.
only did about 2 years of schooling.
I got my grade 4.
Okay, so we're past alone. We're past living in a yurt. You're finally in this beautiful
And we got 4 cups of like I don't even know.
Magic.
What we got. I got coffee. I got
Seltzer water.
water,
all your bacon.
and I ate all my bacon. And I even ate a couple of your bacons. You didn't even notice that, did you? I'm
You're
actually
welcome.
really, really full. Like I'm onto the. They're good, aren't they? They're good. So yeah, finished all that stuff. We're on to Alone. Finished Alone. Doing videos.
You're in a real person house.
Yeah.
You're no longer in a hobbit house.
in a real person house. No longer live like a Mongolian in Maine.
So that brings us to your main now career in YouTube. What would you say that has been like? Making YouTube videos as a job. And I know that's a very broad question, but not many people have experienced that. You're now behind the edits of a couple channels, a couple channels, I'd say that at this point. You're kind of
channels.
You're at this point a manager and a YouTuber. You're doing a lot, right? You quiet down. This is my show. You interrupt me, I'll tell you what, you'll be kicked right off of this set.
That's it.
Your own home.
Wait, this is my home. You go.
Well, I think I'll have to.
All right, I get what you're saying. I get the question.
You're full swing YouTube, essentially.
Full swing YouTube. We now have a studio.
What is that like? It feels probably, that's a odd question to you because it's just the norm. You're living it every single day. You have to live it every single day. But what does it feel like to be a YouTuber every single day? You have to contact these people. You have to herd cats about probably
You're
half
the only
dozen at
cat I
least.
have to herd.
Oh, come on. There's a few. There's a few.
All right, yeah. I don't know. It's fun. I like it. I like the fact, we got, what are we managing now? 2 channels. Or no, three channels. Could count my own, obviously.
Your own website.
No, wait. Oh, jeepers.
sorry.
4 channels.
Oh, okay. So let's
Okay,
name
so-
them.
all right.
Of course, at the top, Fowler's Makery and
Yes.
Mischief. At the second,
Ovens Rocky Mountain Bushcraft.
Ovens Rocky Mountain Bushcraft.
Bushcraft ASMR.
3,
And we have...
Live Bait. Because
No.
I don't have an editor yet.
No, we're not counting
I'm just kidding. I'm
that's
just kidding.
that's extra. But like no, the church's channel. We do the church's
church,
videos.
yes.
So that's four
channels.
4 channels straight up. Managing from the studio, 2 editors plus myself.
Okay, 1 second. Would you like to give a little plug to the church's channel? I'd love that.
Yeah. Anchor
For
channel.
Everybody who's at home, maybe
The
on
Anchor
your Sundays.
Church. Yep.
Don't interrupt me. If you're at home on Sundays, check out Anchor Church. Is it just Anchor Church?
Yeah.
For the channel name?
Yep.
When do you post?
Every Sunday morning at 10
Every
o'clock.
Sunday morning,
So
get your services
Yep.
then.
Yeah.
You could get it on the radio or you could get it there, a little local church.
Yep.
That would be pretty
It's
cool.
not on the radio. It's only on the website.
No, well, I'm saying on the radio, there's a lot of people doing the broadcasts of church on the radio right now.
Oh, okay.
Is what I'm saying. But
Right.
yeah, it's a convenient thing. I mean, maybe people don't have the access to it. Maybe they didn't think of it. But anyways, back on topic. YouTube as a job, that's a different thing. We're talking about it like it's no big deal, but it's not a common thing nowadays. There's not a ton of
especially when you're
YouTubers in the
trying to
US.
like homeschool at the same time.
A whole
you know,
nother added.
and
you got
like-
a pandemic. You know,
Yeah.
it's an added thing.
Yeah, we're trying to do everything at the same time. I don't know. I love it.
It's been fun.
I love
though.
it. I'm like, I like to do my videos.
You ever think of going back to boat building?
No, hell no.
Watch. Beep. We'll get that. In there. We'll get that.
The
in there.
girls say that's a bad word. Is hell no an actual?
What?
That's like a no. That's the bottom line right there, right? That's all
is.
like a.
You can't say hell no.
Why can't you say hell no?
You can't.
That's
There's
like
gonna be too many beeps. Stop.
No, that's
no,
like a-
I don't want this on my first podcast. Come
that's
on.
like a.
We're
That's
keeping
a.
it clean.
All right.
Okay.
No, definitely not. I would never.
Back to YouTube. You're talking about it like it's normal, but I think there's been a few scary moments, possibly, when you're either in the woods, or maybe it's even when it just comes to editing. Maybe you thought you lost a entire SD card, but I more am talking about the scariest moments that you've had when you were filming a YouTube video. Do you have anything that comes right to your head, right out of the gate?
Oh, that when I was filming and walking along a trail looking for rabbits, and I almost stepped on a rattlesnake.
Okay, so that was can
pretty
you
scary.
Clarify when that would have been.
That was during the 30-day survival challenge Texas series.
Okay.
I'm walking along somewhere, I don't know, maybe day 15 or something like that in the series, and I almost step on a rattlesnake. Now, at this point, I had been in Texas already for 15 days or something, and never seen a rattlesnake because it was wintertime. And they're like, yeah, they come out during the heat. You know, you ought to be careful all the time. And at this point, like, I've become
It was a
like
warmer day. Or no?
It was a warmer day earlier that day, but it was
you
a
weren't.
cool evening.
You weren't thinking rattlesnake.
No, because I already at this point I had never seen rattlesnakes, so I'm like, they're full of it. There's no rattlesnakes in Texas. Like,
Good old New Englander.
Yeah,
He didn't even
yeah.
believe that there were snakes in Texas.
I'm like
There
that's
are no
just,
snakes in Texas.
that's just on TV, you know.
Were you wearing your ankle
No.
protections that you
No.
brought with you and didn't wear?
But I
that
wasn't
day?
wearing shorts like my partner.
So did
who
he shoot at
would
you?
not wear pants.
Did he
No,
do one of
no,
those
no,
numbers?
no. He
saw 'em.
he just hissed and rattled his tail because, like any animal, they don't want to be stepped on. They don't want to be bothered. The majority of the time, the only time they attack you is because you corner them and give them no choice. And so I stepped back instantly, which gave him a choice. He was cold because it was cold, and he just hadn't made it back to his den or something like that. And so he rattled at me, and I killed him and ate him. So,
Sweet revenge.
so
But-
that's what you get for scaring me.
And it's
And now
not-
he's in my freezer or my refrigerator because I got his skin that I tanned, or Bob.
That's the
Bob
one.
tanned for me. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's going on the wall.
Well, I was going to
it
mention.
took him almost 2 years, but he finally tanned it
Quiet
for
down
me.
now. This is my podcast.
Yeah, that's all right.
I was going to mention Bob and the fact that maybe you didn't see the worry about the rattlesnakes in Texas, being a Vermont/Maine guy, but Bob, he's an experienced Texan, and he got struck pretty good by
Oh yeah,
a
just before I
rattlesnake.
went down there.
Very experienced in the bush
Yeah, yeah.
of Texas. So you could have easily been in pretty hurting conditions if
Yeah.
that snake would have got you. Yeah.
Yeah, and Bob knew that
That's
snake
fair
was
enough.
there too. Bob
mean-
knew that snake was there, and he tried to properly handle it.
Oh, the one
And
that he saw.
and yeah. The one that he got struck by, he tried to properly handle it.
You're surprised,
And he,
too.
like a good bushman, cooked and ate his too.
After he was partially paralyzed.
After he had to go to the
medevac
hospital.
to
and,
the hospital.
and things like that. But
Don't mess with snakes.
But he handled that like a man too, and now he's okay.
Check out channel name. What's his? Bob
Hansler.
Hansler.
Bob Hansler.
Just Bob Hansler?
Yeah, Bob Hansler
Just
on
search
YouTube.
that.
Yep. It does
You'll
all
find
kinds
him.
of great.
On to the next one. Scary moments. So the snake, that's a scary moment for you, but have
Only
you...
a little.
A little?
Only a little.
Okay, I
I
was
haven't
thinking...
really
I
actually
thought you were
reached
gonna
a
say
scary
cut-
moment.
Cutting your foot in
No.
Canada?
No.
No scary moments?
So I cut into my foot with an axe. Didn't really scare me.
I know, I don't know if this is going to be a spoiler, but I'm going to say it anyways. But in Patagonia, did they document the fact that you said you heard some weird noises, didn't you?
Oh yeah, the Sasquatch that lived
That
up.
brings me to my
No.
next topic. No, it wasn't.
I don't believe in
Sasquatch.
Sasquatches.
Okay, fair
Yeah.
enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, no.
Excuse me. Okay, well, that voids that topic. We'll move on from there. We've covered living off grid, and you lived in a yurt. But now
You got another page?
I got a whole nother page.
Oh,
How
my
long have we
goodness.
been rolling?
I don't know, 2 hours.
No way.
It's gonna stop any second now because of the.
Will it beep? You want to stop and
no,
replay?
stop and.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
stop
got
and
a
come back to it.
Okay, we are back after that quick ad from FowlersMakeryandMischief.com. Thank you very much for shopping all of the outdoor fishing and slingshot gear. We appreciate it.
And spices
And spices
and everything nices.
nices, including the hot sauces. But this segment is going to be a hopefully reoccurring segment. It's called the pocket dump. So I want to
You're
see
gonna pocket dump.
what a survivalist that can survive for 87 days.
I don't think
What's-
we got
what's in
enough
your
room on the
pockets?
table for all this stuff. We got the Samsung Note 20 Plus Ultra 9er Delta something, whatever. The latest from Samsung.
The newest Samsung.
The newest Samsung
Galaxy.
Note. Galaxy Note.
Okay.
with
And
a-
I'm going to
it's got the
hopefully
pen.
get a shot of all of his gear
You will.
spread out on the table up close.
All right.
So we got a Samsung Galaxy. What else
the
you got?
Note. We got of course, the ever beloved Swiss Army knife.
Okay.
With the little Firefly in
Slightly
it,
modified.
that unscrews. So we got the fire starter
What's
there,
the Firefly?
and I don't have the tinder there. That's
Wait,
a that's
explain
a fire
it to the. That's not normal for most people
No,
in the
it
Swiss
isn't
Army.
normal.
So what is it?
It's got a little fire starter
Ferro rod.
ferro rod, and it's
And this thing is about. You don't flick it off into my eye.
yeah.
This ferro rod is about the thickness of a number 2 pencil lead, and somehow he still manages to make fires with it.
yeah.
I broke it on the first strike that I had.
Yeah,
so
the first time
it
you tried it.
takes some finesse. It's
But
a skilled
in your
craft.
defense, though, I did make like 40 fires with
Okay.
it before you
She's
went
thin.
and scraped it and braked it.
She was the scraper.
So
So we
there's
got the
that.
Swiss Army knife. And is this a? Do you know the model?
I don't know what model it is.
But it's pretty much the general. It's your grandfather's Swiss
It's
Army
the most
knife.
general model you can get that you can step up with a saw blade on it.
And you can step up by finally making a use out of the corkscrew that for some reason they put in it. Besides for, I'd like to cover that. What do you else use the corkscrew
Oh,
for?
I was getting out knots.
Yes,
People
and that's
that don't know
something
how to
that
tie
I
knots.
freaking loved.
Yeah.
You can screw this into those knots because I've literally damaged my fingertips trying to undo knots before, but I've seen him take the corkscrew on the Swiss Army knife, drive it into the knot, just corkscrew it in, and then he can yank it out, and it works. It is freaking
the
genius.
ultimate tool for disassembling bad knots that people tie.
And it was your multi-tool that you modified for
Yeah,
spoon
well,
carving.
that was a multi-tool that I
Okay.
brought.
So that's for a different
Swiss
episode.
Army too.
Different episode. Swiss Army
Keychain
knife.
with
Keychain.
the Exotech
Okay.
ferro rod,
Okay.
Subaru Crosstrek,
Okay.
the Go Prepared, not Go Prepared. Well, that was wrong.
Grim.
Grim Workshop bottle cordage.
Yep.
Card. Dog tag, as they call it.
Which you've used multiple times to catch fish.
And the O-Light, little teeny light on the keychain.
Okay.
Which, unfortunately, does not work. And it's my fault. It's rechargeable, but the thing is like, unless
you don't recharge it?
No, it's if it takes a little bit too much twist in your pocket, it tightens up and turns on, and then you end up killing it.
Well, Zach,
so it's a bad design. And I love it.
Are we sponsored by O-Light?
No, we're not sponsored by O-Light. Okay. So we can say that. The fact that it should have some sort of pocket safe thing so that
a lock.
Yeah,
fair enough. A lot of EDC guys, that's one of their main carries is the flashlight.
If you want a flashlight, and I would love to, because it has saved my button a couple times when I have had no other light, and I used to live in the woods, because I've had this thing for 17 years or something. I would give it a turn, and you can see to make it all the way up my half-a-mile driveway into the woods.
A lot better than
with coyotes yipping at me and everything. Yeah. And, but then again, it's I finally got to some point where it keeps just turning too much.
Okay, we'll run over the O-Light, semi-good product. Maybe he needs to upgrade this part. It may be my fault. You need an upgrade.
It may be my, I need.
And also maybe your fault.
Oh yeah, maybe my fault. Maybe my fault.
It helps to charge.
Regular Bic lighter.
Okay.
Right.
Which would be probably your go-to if you're starting a fire. This is your secondary.
No, I always go to with the fire starter of any sort. Ferro rod first. This actually has
are you being a survivalist on me?
No, this
you'd really, if you were surviving, you tell me the truth, you're gonna not use this for.
This is for my kids.
Practice.
Because my kids are always like, "Hey, no, don't burn your kids." This is when they misbehave. No, this is because they're always like, "Hey, Dad, can you get this off my dolly? This little string is sticking out, and I want to be able to like this. I don't want to start a fire."
Spark a ferro rod on them.
Spark a ferro rod. No, because seriously, they're like, my girls are obsessive about not having tags on their dollies and not having a little spare string, and I'm sick of.
But to gloss that over, it is important to keep on a survival standpoint. That's
if you cut any piece of rope, paracord, you want to burn the end of it because you don't want it to fray.
Multiple
things like that. You don't do that with a ferro rod. It's not the same thing as a ferro rod.
Most people wouldn't even consider a ferro rod. So that's a step up. What's this?
It's an invite to the church movie night for the kids.
Oh, Grinch stole Christmas.
Yeah, all right. That was not part of my everyday carry, but it's part of the...
This should be out before Christmas.
It's part of stuff.
Okay, and this is... hold this thing up here.
But apparently an old dental flosser.
Oh, my.
That's gross. What is this? Oh, this is the tag to get my kids back at church. Because you have to... When you send them to Sunday school, you get a number... And if you don't have the right number, you can't take the kids out of the Sunday school.
That could have a survival use, though. Maybe that could be a Band-Aid, right?
It could be. It is a sticker.
You peel the sucker off.
Well, you peel one half off and you stick it to your kids, and then you have the other half to get them back. Now, I don't know if we have enough time to go through this.
This right here. Question. Hold it up. Let's see it.
Is a sap. It's my wallet.
No, it's a sack. It's a satchel. Hooked to a chain
it's that you could... If I whack you in the back of the head, you're going to 9-9. 9-9.
Is it in frame here?
Yeah.
This is not the average man's carry.
No, this is an old biker wallet made by a Vietnam...
It looks like you cleaned it up.
A Vietnam vet.
Really?
And, yeah. And...
Hold it up. We can voice over it,
The essential is we have one of those magnification lenses.
Fresnel
so you can start Fresnel lens you can start a fire with.
Yeah.
We have the... new.
Hold it right up there. Show the camera.
Yeah.
Well, I guess
it's going to be.
We'll cut away.
We'll cut away. It's the new Fowler card right there from Grim.
Yeah.
And with the new trigger system, which are super awesome.
So it looks like you got hooks. You could go fishing, cut fishing line there, start a fire potentially with what you have right now.
Yeah. And we got a knife sharpener, so you can sharpen your knife on your.
Or your hooks.
Hooks or anything. Just having a nice diamond stone sharpener. The usual licenses. A dental floss card.
Wait.
But that's for fishing line.
I can use that for fishing line.
Yep.
Okay.
Random card. the
older-
old Fowler survival card.
Missing a few hooks.
Missing all... Actually, is it missing all?
No, all
is it
but
missing,
one.
Oh, all but one fishing hook.
With the spear, though.
Yeah. And then...
So we got... right now we've got maybe shelter with the knife. You could work something out, but you could always break branches. Potentially food with the fishing hooks. You've got already fire right now. You've got multiple forms of fire.
1, 2, 3...
Which is important.
4...
Okay.
Go
on.
5. And then...
This looks like an interesting little trinket. I think it's one of the card folding knives. It turns into a knife blade.
No.
I have not seen this before.
You don't have...
Trap trigger?
You don't know what this is? No.
I have no idea.
This
it's in Fowler orange.
Is a...
It's a phone stand.
It's a... you seem unimpressed, but it's not just a phone stand. It's a camera stand.
Well, I guess if we're including that, we might as well include what type of watch are you wearing here? For the tech people,
Samsung
we've got
Galaxy
phones.
No, but
that's pretty cool.
The beauty of it
is cool.
No, you can set it on a rock. You snap your phone into it, and it's adjustable. It's very obnoxious.
The idea of this segment is to survive off of what is in your pockets.
Yes, well,
not watch YouTube videos.
This kind of survival provides, pictures and food for the family because I finish a YouTube video because I can't film it. Now the little phone stand.
I do like it.
The phone stand allows me, and it tips at different angles.
And people like tech too. That's seriously why. What do you have for the watch? Once you are done with, do you even know what brand this is?
No, it was just something I saw on Facebook, and it barely works, but it does work. It does.
You could lean your phone up against a rock and probably have as good of results.
You lean your phone up against a rock, and you gotta get an angle that's pointed towards the sky. This allows me to take an angle that's pointed towards the ground if I want to, without my phone falling over.
Definitely not the most interesting piece of his wallet carry, but
I think it is.
Fire.
But I'm also...
So fire means water. You kind of got shelter as well.
And now you can take a picture of it. The fire and the water.
And you're getting your Instagram followers
And the rest of the stuff in here is obviously...
Your Band-Aids.
Band-Aids.
Most people don't carry.
More flossers, just in case you get something stuck in your teeth. Because
again,
you can't survive if you got something stuck in your teeth.
Duck stamp.
And duck stamp and hunting card.
Probably some Sure strips in there?
Yes. Yeah, Spartan Fires, Sear strips, fire starter things. Chains,
so you always got some sort of tinder.
Business card that pretty much covers it.
That covers that, and then you got the chain hooked to that, which you could use for some sort of assault weapon.
Choke somebody out with.
So is that? We've got your phone. We've even got your wrist. Did you empty your back pockets? Before we get to this?
Slingshot.
That's a
frameless
backup, not a frameless, but a backup band set. If you were ever to make a frame,
yeah, frameless slingshot basically.
Yes. Which are you still? You don't. Wait, I can cut this. You don't do the belt anymore, do you?
Yeah, it's right here.
You got the Wazoo belt on?
Yeah.
This isn't even an empty the pockets. This is a full on show. He just pulled off the...
We're not even going to get fully into this because there's...
No, you can't. Don't break it open.
This is a 36-piece survival kit inside of here. I mean, it just, it's just full of, paracord, belt stuff, bottle cutters, compass, water bag, purification tablets.
Slingshot ammo.
Yeah. Wire, fire starters, fishing kit.
And this is pretty much every day you slap this sucker around your
belt.
This is your everyday belt.
48 pieces of slingshot ammo. I mean, it's got everything.
You could tell he wears it every day. She's got a little dust on it, I can tell you that.
On the plane, everywhere. It goes... And it goes right through customs. It doesn't even matter.
This is still available?
Yeah, on our website. Yeah,
available on the website.
FowlersMakeYourMischief.com.
And it's a Wazoo catch belt?
Yep. And I use at least 3 times a year because I don't dig into it every day except for the slingshot ammo I use up once a week. I waste it and then I refill it just to have fun. But the rest of it, it saves my life at least once or twice a year.
So I think this Well, you set a high standard for the first pocket dump. Go ahead and put all your implements away here. Again, we're going to hopefully get a close-up of a few of the things, or I'll throw in some photos or something. But that's going to be hard to beat for a pocket dump, I think. I'm not sure. You don't carry a firearm. You carry a slingshot, but he doesn't carry a firearm, which is, that's okay. That's fine by me. He has 2 kids. He probably should, but, you know, that's fine. Okay, on to
no need for a firearm when you got 2 lethal weapons, right? You got 2 lethal.
Cocked ready to
not even those. It's the creativity. You got 1 lethal weapon right there.
You don't know how quick he could pull that slingshot off his wrist.
Slacking.
So, really quickly, I just want to cover some fishing stuff. This is the Live Bait channel. So in Patagonia, on the History Channel, on the Alone Show, you caught how many trout?
63 trout and 2 birds.
63 trout, so that's probably more trout than most people have caught in a lifetime of doing trout fishing. And he caught that on 1 location, all in 1 area, essentially. What was your methods for catching those fish?
Worms, grubs, and gills.
Worms, grubs, and gills.
Yep. I caught about 50% of them on gills.
Okay.
And
after using your worms and grubs, obviously.
Yeah, you'd use your worms and grubs to catch.
Which were sparse?
A fish, and then, they were a little bit, they weren't not super hard, but they weren't super easy.
So you were headed into wintertime.
Yeah, it was in the middle of winter. So the ground was frozen like 2 inches down. I have to chop through it and flip it over and pull out worms and grubs. Fortunately, it never froze solid.
Single hooks, treble hooks, what were you running?
Single hooks.
Single hooks.
Because you were only allowed 25, and I brought 24. One of them was a bent sewing needle as a hack. So I could use it to sew my gear up, and I used that 3 times, saved my butt from having holes in my mittens, my boots, and other things.
What was the other? You had a piece of leather or something that you sewed together too.
Yeah, there was I sewed my boot insert up.
Oh, yes, that's what it was.
Yeah,
that was
I used my Swiss Army knife to poke holes and then use the sewing needle.
Which doesn't seem like it's all that important, but when you're out there in the woods, just the littlest comforts to having a boot insole on one side and not
it was melted off in the fire and stuff, so it was
you dried her out a little too quick?
No, it fell into the fire and it was burning, and I was like, yeah, it's a whole nother story.
But yeah, back to the fish. We could get up to that at a different time. So you're just running.
I did try one thing.
Or worms.
I did try one other thing. Yep. I had as a hack, I had taken my zipper pulls and I replaced them with sparkly foil. And I was hoping with like the emergency blanket sparkly foil that I could use that and make a lure. And I made several different versions of lures, and I never caught a fish on them.
I might be lacking. What do you mean by zipper pulls? You've been in the
just a regular zipper tab. Like I ripped off the zipper tabs off my jackets.
I see.
And
if it was a piece of fabric.
Yeah.
Okay.
As if it was a piece of fabric or a paracord or something like that. I put in
a little piece of shiny fabric.
The shiny, the foil blanket type material.
And you tried to use that as a lure.
And it did not work. Maybe if I had put a little piece of worm on. I was the worst at hand casting at the time. I didn't understand about a hobo reel. I didn't understand about all that stuff. So if I went back now, I think I could triple the amount of fish catches. Easily.
What are you doing different rather than just single hooks?
I would be actively fishing. I would have actively fished and caught so many fish.
Is a rod a part of your 10 items?
I would have made a rod that cast. I would have made so many different things. You're not allowed to take a rod as your 10 item.
Okay.
No. But you can build a rod all you want.
You bring eyes.
And you can bring a spool. You can't bring eyes.
No.
No, but you can bring wire for snaring. So you could have built eyes on a rod.
Okay.
But you were only allowed really heavy wire.
That's interesting. They allow bows and things like that, but they wouldn't allow a fishing rod.
No, that's too much
advantage.
That's too much advantage, because it's mechanical.
Yes,
so a bow isn't mechanical; it's a string and a line.
It's very primitive,
and they all the bows had to be verified as fairly primitive. You know, no sights, nothing.
So you kind of started to say it though. You did single hooks, you did the worms, the grubs, and the gills. Your first run, your first 87 days. But what do you do different on the next 87 days?
The next one would be
if there was trout. Potentially.
Well, I mean,
knows if
trout
there's
or any of that
cats or-
stuff. Like on the next seasons after that, they had plenty of bigger fish and stuff, and all of them were almost always fished passively. But I would definitely fish. I don't understand. But going back into the situation, I now understand like active fishing, even handline active fishing.
Mm-hmm.
I've done a good number of days doing that.
Worth it.
Yeah, and like how to do it, like how to actively hand cast and bring it in with a good presentation is the more important. And
you see that as an advantage, even though it seems like your original tactic was to kind of stay put, not burn a ton
yeah,
of
but I
calories,
also came
besides
down
building,
every single morning and come down, and all my hooks and lines were stripped.
because
You know,
weren't
or
there to
they'd
set
even
them.
gone off, but their fish are that good at stripping your lines. You need to be that sensitive to feel it and to set the hook yourself. So making some sort of a pole where I'm actively casting and reeling, you know, it makes that much of a difference.
would help you out type of deal. What about like an auto hook set type of deal?
Well, I did have several auto hook sets,
And they
but
didn't do it.
well, some of them were long, and so they were like enough that they could pick it up, and if they felt the tension, they would drop it. Some of them were shorter, and they just didn't go off as well. Those ones caught me more fish than anything else, but I only had like one or two of those. So in the future, I would have built more of those and taken advantage of that.
Before we jump off the gear and the fishing gear and Patagonia type of topic, would you use specific hooks? There's a lot of, I don't know who's watching this, but the hardcore ice fishing guys, they're moving towards a lot of small like egg hooks. Those pink hooks are really common for ice fishing, just really small finesse hooks. Would you still bring that just regular Snell hook that the average trout fisherman would use, that's pre-lined up, that you buy at Walmart?
Oh,
or would
no,
you
no,
bring
like,
yourself
like an eagle claw, just regular double barbed, like triple barbed hooks and things like
the
yeah,
red
like,
hooks? And there's I feel like we've gotten more into the fishing world since you've done that.
I think
would
I
you
would've-
change it up at all?
I probably would have brought like a couple trebles, which mean that it would have counted as 3 hooks each one of them. But I would have brought 3 of those for hooks that were set just below the surface, that were spring sets.
Even for trout, you would have brought
yeah, even for trout, but like not necessarily huge, but just because some of them are so aggressive and they're gonna hit it. And if there's 3 hooks, the odds are when that spring set goes off, it's going to whack them. And you put the gills on those. And then I would have brought some smaller hooks for putting little grubs and worms on, something that a trout's going to come along, choke it down, because who's to say? We don't know where we're going when you're going on a show like that. You don't know. You know, I mean, if I went somewhere that was all bluegills, you want a small hook. You want them to suck it in.
A cane pole.
And you're going to like bop. Yeah, you're going to bop.
Were you seeing them off the shoreline? Could you see that?
Yeah,
I know you built your bridge out.
Well, I built
a
a dock out into the water, and yeah, you could see them.
But just from the shoreline, could you see trout
Not
cruising
very
the
often.
shoreline?
No.
Once
Not
in a
very
while,
often. Because the glare was just enough. I was in the shadow.
And there wasn't really
yeah.
any brook fishing or river fishing.
No, there was. I wasn't allowed to go
within
far
your
enough to
border.
get to a brook or a river. Yeah.
Well, that answers that. So you're pretty much running the same thing. Live bait. Funny enough.
Yeah.
He's going to run live bait. And that, man, I
didn't catch anything not on live bait. Because I tried all the kinds of little things. I made a little popper. I made a little...
It's all fun.
Jig heads. I made a couple little things that, like, nothing, not a single bite.
And I feel like people might not love this channel or, like, click on it because it is live bait. And there's this, like, class of fishermen nowadays that live bait, it's like driving the... I don't know, it's like the easy way. It's like rifle hunting versus archery hunting, essentially. People look at live bait like, but it seems like you have proved the fact that if you want to survive for 87 days, you're not going to be throwing a spoon or a spinner, or, I mean, you might if you had that.
You're the one that makes fun of me when I'm running a bass bait.
I do,
and
with
I
the
go
worm on it.
And I go and like, here, hey, Fowler pro tip, you want to catch a fish when they're not biting? You put a worm on it. Put a worm on a spinnerbait. You know, and everybody else.
It's a weird
has gotta
mentality
be
of
groaning.
thinking that that's unsportingly or something. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's all fishing. If that's what works, that's what
If
works.
you're not catching fish, then you're an idiot. No, I'm just,
Yeah, it's a mentality. Again, I'd compare it to the archery versus rifle hunting.
Yeah.
Okay, so 87 days in Patagonia, no problem. You've done 3 30-day survival challenges for your YouTube channel.
Well, 2.
2?
One was just here.
Texas, Canada,
and home.
Well,
it doesn't really count.
2. We'll count it as 2.
We were just goofing. I was just goofing around because it was
30 days is probably a breeze.
It was just like, yeah. See, even thinking of it makes me yawn. I was just chilling here at home while main lockdown was on and everybody else was off doing somewhere else, and so I just spent 30 days not going to the grocery store. It didn't mean I didn't have stuff around. Whereas the other ones, I was literally, the only rule was you can't eat it unless you catch and cook it, and we didn't bring food. So, yeah.
What I was getting at, bacon, is I feel like out of all of your videos that you've shot, the 30-day survival challenges, they brought you some pretty cool locations, even if you've only done 2. You've seen Texas, you've seen the Rockies.
Yeah.
Your 7-day challenge, you saw what part of Canada?
Up there with the Wooded Beardsman, kind of just northern Canada from where I am now.
But you've seen some pretty cool places.
Yeah, just Maine. Just spending 7 days as we did with the Wooded Beardsman right here, but like focused on only that to do a survival challenge where we can only eat what we catch and cook in Maine was cool.
You're doing new stuff, I feel like.
87 days of only what we can eat in Patagonia. I mean, it's like, so I've seen a good amount of little close places.
So you've done Canada, you've done Texas, north, south. Where are you going next?
Well,
potentially. Nothing set in stone.
My dream place is Siberia.
Russia?
Yeah.
Okay.
Siberia.
Shout out to the Russians in the chat.
Yeah, Siberia. And South America.
Siberia, South America.
And maybe Australia.
Okay.
Something like that. That's pretty deadly dangerous, Greg says. But he's got connections there. And so we might just do it.
Okay, I like those options.
Florida. Because I want a hammock above the alligators. And unfortunately, I think Florida will probably happen first, which would be cool.
That's not unfortunate.
No, it's unfortunate because I really want to do Siberia and things like that.
I think you got to cut into a tropical.
I want to get it before I get too old or something weird happens, you know? You never know.
Siberia could be
You never
tough.
know when you're going to get old really quick. When you're 40, you know.
Bones start turning into brittle butter.
Yeah. You break a hip, and they say you only got about 6 months after that before you're all done.
All the bacon starts going to your hips, and you just can't get out of bed.
I'm actually been eating a lot of bacon.
I like those.
I've been losing about a pound or 2
joints.
every 3 days now.
You're in ketosis, right?
Yeah, I've been doing good. I'm behaving myself. I stopped eating the carbs, and I started losing about 5 pounds a week.
This is my show. This is a whole other topic. We're not doing diet.
We're not doing keto today.
We're going from
keto
fishing.
Diet. Check it out.
We're about to wrap it up, though.
All right.
Favorite fish to catch, clean, eat, whatever.
You know what that is.
I don't know. I would like to know. No, I'd love to know.
I think you know.
Catfish?
Yes.
Catfish. Not a local fish to Maine, so I feel like as a Maine local, I'm a bit offended. I'm sorry, we can't provide the catfish.
Okay, it's bass. I love bass. It's the best.
Honestly, I thought you might say trout because you ate 63 of them for 87 days.
No, they're good. But catfish is just so juicy.
Okay.
It's so juicy. It's so good.
Okay.
It's even a little gummier, like an oyster. Not like an oyster, like a
gummy. That's how I like my fish.
It's a little like lobster.
It's fattier.
Lobster, like lobster or alligator. Like it's got that little bit of a springiness when you bite into it, instead of just falls apart in your mouth like a
I've
trout,
never had a
which
proper
is good.
catfish.
They're so good.
I've had hornpout, but that's about it.
Yeah.
So that takes care of that, which kind of segments into, I believe, the Asian folk, and I'm allowed to say that because I am a cultural person myself. But the Asian folk
Asian segment.
Yeah,
I'm not sure when it stopped.
Oh yeah, I didn't even look up. Okay, so Asian influence, the chopsticks,
Start again,
the wok.
because you just moved your chair while you were doing it.
I'm sorry. So the favorite fish to catch, the catfish. That brings it to kind of the Asian food. I know in the Asian culture, a lot of catfish, a lot of carp are ate. So where and why did the Asian influence come from? You love Asian flavors, the style of cooking. You say it's maybe easier?
I don't know. I never really thought about it that way, but I guess one thing, I love the old Japanese movies and my whole love of movies and how they would be like so animated and every step they did was so meticulous. Their chopsticks, they don't, they take them and they do this and they make their soups and they pour and they're so meticulous and and American stuff is so messy at times.
It's a burger. It's a cheeseburger.
A knife and fork, and you're making all this mess. But you do this beautiful presentation, and you take your chopsticks and you eat a wonderful little piece of meal, and you can eat it so delicately and enjoy it, little piece at a time. And I love the Asian flavors. I love kimchi. And I love the kimchi spice that's if I'm ever not using adobo, I use that kimchi spice instead of which they use to make kimchi and the fermented cabbage thing to put on your food. I use that to season all my foods and have for years. Kimchi spice blend, not necessarily teriyaki soy sauce or anything like that, but some of those other Asian flavors like the peanut Thai sauces I love. All those the curry kind of Indian things.
But the implements too. You love your wok.
I love my wok. I love it because you could toss food in it. Unlike a regular pan with its little peasant sides that the food falls out of. You got your wok and you throw it all up in the air and it comes back down inside and the majority of it lands inside of there because it can catch it,
And the chopsticks, of course, you made 20 dozen of those.
No, I made over 200 sets of spoons and chopsticks.
Lots of Christmas gifts.
Yeah.
But he favored the chopsticks. He doesn't use spoon. I've never seen you carve and use a spoon in the woods.
Never in the woods.
Not recently.
Never in the woods. Never. I don't think I made one or two in Patagonia for myself outside of Christmas presents, and I never used a single one of them.
But you on the whole food implement thing, carving spoons. You had made that little special attachment on your multi-tool so you could carve out spoons in Patagonia. And I had heard from a person who teaches survival classes, that's one of the first things they teach is how to carve a spoon. And that kind of falls into the thing where I really got influence from you, is getting that influence to get outside and do things outside. And it starts in little things like carving spoons. And that might not sound that big of a deal, carving a spoon, especially to you. You've done hundreds of them at this point. But it's knife safety, right? And it's one of the first things in getting outside in the woods is being safe with your tools so you're not cutting yourself up. And I think that if you can carve a spoon and go out into the woods, or harvest or collect a piece of wood, carve a spoon, that's one of the best first steps to kind of understanding what you can do with your materials, with your tools, and things like that in the woods. So maybe for somebody who doesn't have access to 50 acres, maybe they just have a little patch of woods where they could go out and get a sliver of wood and sit in the bushes and do a simple thing like that. Maybe it's not a 30-day survival challenge like you're able to do, but it's something for people to kind of get their start to getting out into the woods. For maybe they would have never done it. They feel like they have no reason to go out and hit the trails and look at the trees and understand different types of things. So basically, bringing it all back is, how do you feel like you could go on inspiring people to get outside with your videos? You're doing extreme things like 30-day survival challenges, but I want to know how you cannot feel like you're intimidating these people, because you're doing very great things, but at the same time, you started with the basics, doing spoon carving slingshots, just walks in the woods. I don't know, you kind of got into the plants thing, but what would you say, I guess, for somebody who is stuck inside that maybe has had the thought to get outside, but they haven't had the reason to do it? What would you say to them? That's a big question.
Right, to tell them not to be intimidated, just do the next thing. That's one of my favorite sayings my mom taught me. It's like, you don't have to do everything that I'm doing or that you're doing. When we do stuff together, we do a lot of stuff that is like way beyond people that are just starting out's means. But and the same thing I tell my daughters, like, we just do the next thing. Like, they can't. No, you're trying to shoot a slingshot and you're getting all frustrated. how many times have you ever done that before? Of course you can't do it.
It's not going to happen on the
I've been
first
shooting
run.
a slingshot for 3 years, almost 4 years now. You know, you're never going to hit a target the way I do. You do the next thing, and the best thing that you can do is just doing the next thing with the level of ability that you have, and doing the next thing with the ability that you're capable of doing. If that is carving a stick to a point at the end,
or like we were saying,
know,
two
just
chopsticks.
Two
Pieces of sticks, bringing that
just
home.
cutting them to the equal length and making sure that they're straight is your level.
You don't even get to cook in the
You don't
woods.
even have to cut them to this. You don't have to cut two sticks the same length. You
They don't
can
gotta
cut
be perfect.
a small set of tree forks, and then you can just
Your,
squeeze them together.
Beginner chopsticks.
Training wheel chopsticks.
Yeah.
You can have fun with it. You don't have to.
Bring them home, eat your bowl of ramen with it, and I guarantee that's going to be the tastiest bowl of ramen you've ever had that you eat with your homemade chopsticks.
Yeah.
Because you have something there. You've created a connection with your food.
Exactly.
But yeah, that's a good point.
You don't try to bite off the
More than
you don't try to eat the, what is that saying there? You don't eat the
bite off more
elephant.
than you can chew.
Yeah, you bite it more.
What are you saying about an elephant?
Yeah, no, you eat an elephant one bite at a time. You know,
all of our South Africans out there will get that one. Thank you guys for watching.
How do you eat a whole elephant? You one bite at a time.
Exactly.
You know, it's like you don't.
And they're chewy sons of guns, so it's going to take a lot of bites.
They're actually pretty tender if you cook them just right. No, I have no idea. I've never eaten an elephant.
Well, that's about it. Kind of an inspiration thing there. Get outside, guys. From this guy who spent, probably a quarter of your life out in the woods at this point, haven't you? Just purely in the woods.
Would like to think so, but you know.
You guys do the math for us. But thank you very much for watching the first episode of Live Bait. Again, this was my guest, Zach Fowler. Hopefully we have more interesting guests like himself. But until then, you guys take it easy and have a good one. Oh my. How long did we talk?